We experienced Minion Land.
Went on a private RIP tour and went to the dark side for Mickey's Not So Scary.
So it's time to recap our thoughts.
This is episode 578 of the Unofficial Universal Orlando Podcast. Hey everyone, welcome to the show. As you've just heard in the intro there, we are going to recap our thoughts on our recent trip. And to do so, I am joined by Tracy.
Hello.
Michelle, who was missing last week, is joining us. Hello, Michelle.
Howdy, I'm happy to be back.
And since as though we've sacked Chris officially, like the live show you heard in the parks was the last time you'll hear Chris on the podcast, Joni is now his official replacement as she joins us again for this week. So, Joni, welcome aboard.
Hello. Sorry, Chris.
Estrogen.
I'm just going to leave that there and go, I wonder how many people are actually like freaking out right now that, what, Chris isn't coming back? No, he is. I'm just joking.
Yeah, how many people have just gone, well, that's it, I'm not listening. And that's it, they've cut off, and we've just lost half of our listenership. Oh, shit.
We will find out, won't we?
Because he's got a pretty loyal following at this point.
I don't know why. Anyway, so yeah, as you heard 2 weeks ago, we did our live recording from the parks. Tracy's first show back for like forever.
Yeah.
It was weird.
Yeah.
And quite a few tweets and stuff of like, oh, and someone actually tweeted, I teared up hearing Tracy's voice on the podcast again.
Oh, I'm sorry. Was it really that bad?
It was
So
Craig.
sweet.
It was Craig.
Yeah.
It probably was like tears of, oh God, not her again.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm so happy to have you back, Tracy.
I'm happy to be
you.
back.
That's all
Good.
she's said every episode since you've been away, to be fair. Apparently Chris
I
and I
missed
aren't
you
enough.
so I missed you more than Lee did.
Oh,
Wow.
Oh,
yeah.
He's not denying it.
No. Well, I missed
there was
everybody
a silence there.
There was a very awkward silence.
Yes.
Silence, Lee.
She knows it's not true.
Okay.
too. Oh, he's already complained about the mess.
So, yes, absolutely. Like, setting up for podcast recording was much easier when Tracy wasn't here.
Oh, got that in the car, yeah.
But anyway, so I don't want to do trip report style because it's kind of boring. You've kind of heard our trip in chronological order.
Uh-huh.
So I just kind of wanted to break down. Ideally, Chris would have been here, so we could have talked about all these things together, but he isn't. So we've replaced him with Joni, who was part of a lot of our trip, actually, to be fair, which is why Joni
As
has
it
been
should
invited
be.
Oh,
on.
I loved it so much.
So did we.
I can't believe it was only like 2 weeks. 2 weeks ago.
2 weeks tomorrow.
Is that right?
Yeah, 2 weeks ago, we're still there.
Oh my
We flew
God.
home tomorrow.
So, it was so good. It went by so fast, though.
It did.
It
It,
really
always
did.
does.
3 weeks ago.
No, 2 weeks ago we were there.
3 weeks ago.
Oh yeah, you're right.
Yeah.
Someone's on the ball tonight. Apparently not me. It was 3
See what a
weeks
little
ago.
breakaway it was
Yes.
for you?
So I kind of wanted to just break down and discuss the sort of new things we'd done and that really basically. But Tracy, look, there's probably going to be some soapboxes brought out for this
Really?
episode. Tracy's already.
Can't imagine that.
So it's like, get your phone out, make a note. I need to talk about this on the podcast.
Oh, I've been quite incensed by a few things.
I have. Michelle and I had a very heated debate in the Uber on the way back from Mickey's Not So Scary Halloween party about the current state of Universal Orlando Resort.
Yeah, it was a good one.
Oh, it was heated though,
Uh-huh.
wasn't it? You and I have very different opinions of where that resort is and is heading right now.
Yeah, but I don't know. I wouldn't use the word heated. It was an intelligent debate. Heated to me implies emotions were involved, but it wasn't. It was just a
Lee
very
was talking.
intelligent
My emotions are always involved.
Yeah, if Lee was talking.
between two theme park gurus. That's all it was.
Yes.
But if Lee was talking, it was heated.
My emotions are involved in everything I do, so emotions were involved.
I mean, you're not wrong.
Yeah.
Okay, emotions were not involved on my end. Emotions are rarely involved in anything I do. So,
But I feel that is a topic of conversation I want to have on the show, but not right now because we're talking about our trip.
okay.
So Tracy, you've got a couple of things you wanted to get off your chest first.
Yes, both toilet based, restroom based. I'll start with the studios. As you go in and you've gone through the turnstiles to your right, your immediate right, there's like a little archway with restrooms under there.
Yeah, the ones to the left of the Today Cafe,
Yes.
if you're looking at it from like where the Universe store is.
Yeah. And they're under construction, which that's fine. You know, things need repairing and updating. That's absolutely fine. However, that means that there are no restrooms at the front of the park. In fact, where the nearest ones, either straight down near Jimmy Fallon
Or the Transformers bathrooms.
or the Transformers ones, which...
Not true. There's some over by the exit.
Oh, there is. You're
where?
right.
Oh, yes, there are the
there
exit
is,
ones.
You're right.
You're right,
Yeah,
yeah.
we never. I know, because you always feel like if you're doing them, you're leaving the park. You're right.
Mm.
They're still not close, though.
It's still that if you've got somebody who's not able-bodied or you've got small children, it's quite a distance between restrooms.
I did find it interesting that there was no signage around those bathrooms to kind of point you to the nearest ones.
Yeah, that was something else I was going to say.
And they've been
Yeah.
down for quite a while now because
Really?
when we were there in July, I had the same issue.
Really?
I was running to those restrooms, figured out they were closed, and had that panic moment of, oh my gosh, where's the closest one?
Yeah.
And there's nothing to tell you. And I had no idea they
Right.
were down.
Yeah.
Yeah, those restrooms over by the exit are like you wouldn't know they're there unless you know they're there.
Yeah.
To be fair.
I mean, we know the place. We forgot about them.
Yeah. The ones we generally hit
Because,
on the
as you
way
say,
out. You
that's
don't
'cause you're
think
going
about it when
out.
you're in the
Yeah.
park because it's
But-
on the way out.
And, I appreciate that things have to be replaced and repaired. And I appreciate that.
But they're the ones we use probably more than any
yeah,
other in
and
that
a lot
park.
of people. And it's
Same
again,
here.
it's seen
Yeah.
from the parents' point of view, and also from a disability point of view. With the last few trips I've had where I've had mobility issues, if you're literally bursting to go, you might not make it to another one.
You know, Michelle's going to
You
say
know.
you should have been
Right.
on a scooter and it'd have been no problem.
Well, that's all well and good. That's no good if you've got a little one in a stroller
Which we didn't. By the way, you've
or a
sold her
little one that
completely.
isn't in a stroller.
You've cost me a
You know.
fortune now because she wants a DCV every time we go now.
I have not said that.
I mean, I tried to get her on the bandwagon
Oh, I
2
know.
years ago.
I know. But yeah, so there's that. Yeah,
Yeah.
and like I said,
It's one of those things I think
signage.
they feel like they should make people aware that those bathrooms are down.
It's a basic human need.
And they should have put it. They should put a sign up that shows like where the nearest one
Yeah.
is.
Yes.
It doesn't
Yeah.
take much.
So that's the fault. I mean, obviously things need to get
Of
refurbished.
course.
Things go down, but they definitely need to redirect.
Yeah.
Now my
But like I said, you guys forgot about the ones that were not really that far away,
No.
but
Because-
they're out of the way, so you don't think about them.
Yeah.
because it's the exit,
Yeah.
and
Exactly.
and you're never heading towards me. You see them and you go, "I'll just pop in there before we leave."
Yes. And which
Exactly.
we did quite a
Even
few
though
times.
they're close, you don't think about them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, that one's smaller also. So I usually don't think about it because I don't want a line.
Yeah.
So I go to ones I know there's not going to be a line.
Yeah.
The other thing is, it's a genuine question. So the accessible cubicles, why the hell are they the furthest cubicles away from the door?
I wish Chris was here right now.
Because it drives me insane. I will say, there's a caveat, with the exception of one place. I didn't go everywhere, so that if there are other places, let me know, because I like to make these things available to everybody. The only place I found where the accessible toilet
I'm trying to
was
remember
nearest
now.
the door was in, get out my head, it's not Fleming Lombard's.
I'm trying to think.
Finnegan's.
Oh, yeah.
It was Finnegan's. I was talking to Alexa about it. But yet, why are the accessible toilets the furthest away? And also, people, if you're out there and you see somebody who's either on crutches, with a walking stick, has come in with a wheelchair, and a few cubicle stalls become available, please do not just go into the disabled or accessible cubicle and then be rude to the person who's like, do you think you could go into this one next door? Because I had that happen.
I really wish Chris was here right now.
And she basically told me to
Cough.
go away. Yeah, cough. She told me to go away and basically get a life. And I'm like, I'm walking with a stick. And I could really use the door that opens out over.
Yeah.
But she was very rude.
Chris
so
had a similar issue with
I hope she
somebody,
had some splashback.
but the other way around, which is why I wish he was here.
Flash.
Chris nearly got into fisticuffs
Oh, yeah.
over a family restroom.
That's-
Family.
Yeah.
Yeah. But
Anyway.
But yeah, it doesn't make sense to me that the accessible cubicle for those who are less abled is the furthest away.
I can think of two reasons just to play devil's advocate. I can see both sides. So let me preface by saying I'm neutral. I am Sweden on this. But I can see two reasons to your argument. One being that putting them back gives anybody who needs a wheelchair or a lot of extra space, the space to do that, because most of the crowd will be more towards the entrance.
Yeah.
Right? Have to navigate around a bunch of people in the front of the bathroom. So there's that. The second reason I can think of is by putting them in the back, you would hope that would be people like able-bodied people's last thought is all the way to the back. But they don't. And right. But I would think that if there's 10 stalls between that one and the front one, that they would choose one of the front ones.
Yeah.
You would think.
Yes.
Of course, there's a lot that don't, but
no.
Theme park people.
But I your side too, like you should not walk as far to get in there.
Yeah.
And yes, people need to not be a-holes. And if there's somebody that truly needs it, then obviously you let them go before you and use it. Like,
you tell them to cough.
Yeah. Look, I have many issues with American bathrooms, to be fair. We're not going to get into them right now, but thank you for joining everyone for the Universal Orlando Bathrooms podcast. This is the first episode. Be sure to come back next week for more toilet talk. Right.
Episode number 1. Yeah? Episode number 1.
Yes. Next week, episode number 2.
But you know me, I like to try and be the voice of the minorities because I want everybody to get
just those random
to
things.
Be fairness. And it was just something that
incensed her.
It didn't incense me. I found it irritating because I was in pain.
Yes.
And it was literally like some people. It's only the difference between 10 steps, but those 10 steps were agony at times.
True.
You know.
Yep.
Anyway,
yeah, that's my soapbox.
So the first thing I wanted to kind of get on, we all stayed at different hotels on this trip, so kind of wanted to talk about people's thoughts on the different hotels from each other.
Yeah.
Well, apart from Michelle, had gone at 3 a.m. and stayed in the same one, and we never saw her.
True.
Because you were at Cabana, weren't you, Joni?
Yes.
But that's your hotel of choice, isn't it?
It is. It is my favorite resort, but especially for HHN, it's my go-to.
Why specifically for Halloween Horror Nights?
Well, until this year, they always had the pop-up there, which I guess that just started a few years ago, but it was nice having that there in our hotel. Last year they started the beer crawl. Do what?
It was still there this year, wasn't it? The Chucky thing.
Yeah, but they did have things at other hotels too this year.
Okay, I see. So
you're
talking about it being the...
Well, we'll talk about that.
Yeah.
It wasn't really anything to speak of at the other hotels.
No.
They tried.
Well,
it wasn't. So Cabana Bay got the golden egg for sure.
Yeah, I think just the vibe overall of Cabana is more my style. And the retro Halloween, it speaks to me. It goes right to my heart. I love it.
I did feel a lot of FOMO in it, like, because the sort of main group of ours were all staying at Cabana, so as we're pissing around doing whatever we're doing, and everyone else is just hanging out by the pool drinking at Cabana Bay. And we're seeing pictures on Facebook. I'm like, I feel like I'm out of the group now.
Aww.
And we brought that up several times too. I hated that we were all separated. I wish we had planned better to be at the same.
It is what it is, isn't it? It comes down to price. Like, we only stayed at Dockside purely because it was the cheapest. And honestly, I know my opinion of it's changed slightly. It was noisy.
I'm not a fan of Dockside.
I like it.
I know a lot of people are, but I'm not. I don't know.
I love the hotel, but Jesus, you can hear everything from everywhere else in those rooms.
Put it this way, our neighbours were having a conversation.
At 2:10 in the morning.
Well, it was a bit later than that, I think. So I literally just stood next to the adjoining door and in my normal speaking voice said, I really wish the neighbours had shut the cough up so we could get some sleep. And they stopped speaking immediately.
Oh my gosh.
And I was speaking at this level.
But other than that, I love the hotel. We ate I mean, I think I've got it in later on. We ate there a ton this time. We went down to the pool bar a couple of times because Tracy finally got her bubba tub, two bubba tubs.
Best breakfast
Yay.
ever.
Hey, they were-
Okay, I do love their pools. I do love the
Yeah.
bubba tubs.
They were
I'll
good.
give you that.
I considered getting one after having a drink of Tracy's.
Yes, I was not sharing.
It was very nice.
And they weren't a light pour either. It was very nice.
Yeah.
Yes.
Michelle, Sapphire?
So yeah, Sapphire, I lucked up and booked it a long time ago, obviously. And this is what I always try to tell everybody: book your hotel like super far in advance if you know for sure you're going, because that's the best deals. So I booked it a long time ago, and I got a really dang good rate at Sapphire, which I love to stay at because of the water taxis.
Yes.
I mean, it's also a beautiful resort, you know. It's that step up from Cabana and Aventura, and I love the water taxi access during HHN. It's a lifesaver to me, so it's worth the little bit of extra expense for me for that reason. And fabulous knowledge to have. Also, I lucked out when I checked in and requested a room really close to the water taxi,
Yep.
which I've never thought of doing before. Usually I like to be close to the lobby. But for this purpose, for Halloween Horror Nights, I was like, you know what? I usually do lobby. Let me say, get me close to the water taxi, because I'm literally dying at 2:30, 3 o'clock in the morning when I'm coming back. And I don't want to walk far from the water taxi. She literally put me, like, I don't know, when you're coming off the water taxi and you're going into the hotel. So there's a little trail where it splits off. You can
Yeah.
either go into the hotel towards Amatista, or it goes off to the left. That little trail off to the left, literally you walk in there, there's elevators, and my door was like 3 doors down.
Nice.
Perfect.
Wow.
Like literally it was 20 seconds from water taxi to my room, and it was fabulous. Like, I will be requesting one of those 5 rooms in that little area every single Halloween Horror Nights from now on. And I will be trying to also request it for my clients.
Yeah.
AKA book with Michelle, because she knows all the tips.
I love Sapphire Falls. We got a little bit of a taste when we'll talk about it a bit later, but
Mhm.
when we went over and we had to get the buses because it made more sense for us to get the buses. But look, I'm going to put it out there already. Vacation days have been put in at work for next year.
Yay!
Hotels are
So
being
let's book your Ellie.
priced up. I'm looking at
Let's
having.
hope it's 2 of
It
us.
depends whether, so it might just be me next year. It depends where Tracy is. I know we said that this year. So dependent on whether it's me or both of us, I will probably, if it's just me, I'll quite happily stay at Dockside because I don't care. It's more about the price. But if we end up coming over both of us, then we're looking at Aventura for 2 weeks as well as what we're looking at.
Ooh.
So yeah. Yeah. So hotels, again, there's not a bad hotel on site. I think it comes down to how much you want to spend and how much you're going to use the hotel. We talked about this a crap ton over the last year.
Right.
Yeah.
And, you know, I also, so disclosure, I also did one little other quick, I can loop this trip into the group trip too. I made another little trip down just a few nights ago. Literally flew down just for one night to meet up with some clients who was so gracious as to invite me and some of the podcast hosts to a private RIP. So I flew down just for that and stayed one night. I finally finished off staying. I can now say I've stayed at every single resort on property. So I stayed
Whoa.
that night.
Oh, wow.
Yeah,
So you stayed where the other night?
Surfside.
Okay.
That's my first time staying at Surfside. So now I've done all of them. So this, just in the past 2 weeks, I've done Dockside, Sapphire, and Surfside. And I have to say, no matter where you stay, let me tell you, it is a benefit to ask to be placed close to wherever the transportation is
Yeah.
when you're doing a Halloween Horror Nights trip. Because I did the same for Surfside. And it was literally, I just walked right in from where the bus station was, walked right in that door instead of having to go through the front of the hotel, up the elevators, and there was my room.
Okay.
Which is nice. I know that you think I'm lazy, Lee, but
I
it's
know you
really
were lazy.
nice
I don't
at 3 o'clock in the morning
I
when you just
know.
want to.
See, we were on the 4th floor, and from the elevators from where we were, we could see Epic Universe, which was pretty cool. I could see that
Mhm.
dueling coaster
Yes.
from the elevator window on the 4th floor. And
Cool.
it's having been down to where Epic Universe is, it feels quite far away, but from that window, it looked very, very close. But it's not.
Yeah.
It's not.
It's not that close.
No.
Ask Laura. And the security guards that followed us around. I don't know whether we should be talking about that here. Anyway, yes. So heading into the parks, obviously the first thing that Tracy and I experienced that we hadn't experienced before, Michelle kind of pretty much at the same time you did as well. Joni, I know everyone's heard you on the podcast talking about VillainCon and all of that. We got to experience Minion Land for the first time.
We did.
Yeah.
As you heard
No
on the
more
show, we
production
got
central.
to... I like it.
I like it.
I
was
like it a
surprised.
lot, actually.
Yeah.
I really do too. I
It's-
think it's a great addition.
It's got a lot more energy.
It just gives it more
Yeah.
character.
Mm.
It does feel more like a more family-friendly theme park with that addition too.
It just gives it... I said this even before visiting. It just gives that entrance to the park a cohesion. It feels... Obviously, there's still Rip Ride Rocket there.
For now.
For now.
Yeah.
Not before Michelle's written it.
I mean, it's going to happen before it
It's
goes
not.
away. Oh, it will.
It's not.
Yeah, it's loud. I tell you what I do like, the Illumination Theatre down the side adds, because that alley that goes down to the Transformers meet and greet, there is nothing there. It feels like such a bland, weird nothing of an alley. And then adding in sort of Bake My Day on the corner and the Illumination Theatre just gives that a bit more energy as well. I wish they'd do something else down there because it's pretty empty.
Mm.
Yeah, it was cute. Minion Blast, I'm on the fence about.
What?
Oh.
Oh
Oh
my!
my God.
Listen, hold on.
Who are you?
Hold. Okay, it was a
He's
nice
crying.
addition. That upgrade from Shrek.
Anything's an
Oh,
upgrade.
yeah.
A turd in the
I knew you were
road
trying to
is
say turd.
is an upgrade from Shrek.
But it's not a perfect addition.
It's not perfect.
Because it's never
but
meant to be.
But I think it's a worthy replacement.
Right,
For
I would say, right, I'm going to categorically say it now. I've said this to Tracy a number of times. And I
I'm
think
gonna
I've said
agree
it
with
to
you.
Chris and Alexa. If we were to go back and do our top 5 current attractions at Universal Orlando Resort, right now,
I don't know how you can say this.
I don't know whether you know what I'm going to say, but I think this would be my number. I think this would be my number 1.
Mm-hmm.
Your
What?
number
Wow.
one ride at the
and-
entire park?
Yes.
All the Velocicoasters.
Yes.
Oh, wow.
What?
I would ride the out of
Oh,
that
yeah.
thing
I think it'd be my number 2.
many, many, many
What
times
the-
a day.
Yeah.
You're
Is
gonna
it the competition part
It's-
of it?
yeah,
get out the
definitely.
picture because what the
I told you didn't know what I was going to say.
well,
Definitely.
last you told me was top 5.
Yep, I've
But
changed
your
my
number
opinion
1,
of
you
it.
just said it's your number 1.
It is the ride we rode the most. Put it this way, right? We only rode Men in Black 3 times on this trip,
Yeah.
and do you know what? I'm kind of not bothered about it. When we did our top 5 attractions and I left Men in Black off, I was like, I feel like I'm being a bit contrary. I feel like people are probably going to go, he's just leaving it off because that's Lee and he likes to play with people. And I kind of did a little bit. Having ridden it now, I'm not bothered about it anymore. It desperately needs some TLC. I'm kind of bored of it.
But how does it become number 1?
Because I love that competitive edge. I love that it's not the same thing every time you do it. It's accessible. It hasn't got a massive wait time. If I'm feeling ropey, which you all know I have issues when I'm in Florida sometimes where I'll have a headache or my stomach, I can't ride Velocicoaster, I can't ride Hagrid's or anything like that. Whereas this is something I could probably ride all the time.
Really? It made me a little bit nauseous with all
Really?
of the screen. Yeah.
I love it, honestly. And again, people probably think he's just saying that because it's just Lee being a No, I genuinely love that
I'd say
attraction.
it's my number 2.
And then
All the
I'm
interactive
sure Tracy's
stuff
going to talk
outside.
about it. Everything else that comes along with it, all the the sort of the little things to hunt down and add
I'm
the
obsessed
collectibles
with-
in the app.
And I'm a pack rat and stuff like that. I love.
I'm very excited if this is the test bed for things that we're going to see at Epic Universe.
I would love to see this technology. And do you know what? In every land, it would really enhance all guests' experiences if you had that other stuff.
Michelle, if you were there,
I love it.
we were there with Chris and Alexa and we'd rode it and Tracy's like, I'm just going in to Bake My Day. We had no idea what she was doing. And then she come back, just got another one. And like, you could have told us.
No, I wanted to stay top of that leaderboard.
I love it, honestly.
That's okay. So I have to take this with a grain of salt, knowing that 4 4 years ago, Fast and Furious, you loved. So I'm going to take that with a grain of salt since this is new. It took you a while to settle in to the Fast and Furious Kool-Aid.
No, because I never came out and said Fast and Furious was the best ride in the world, that it would be in my number one. I said I didn't mind it. I never said I loved it. People have, no, I never said I loved it.
You did say you loved it.
I did not.
Believe that's on the podcast.
Anyone who listens to the podcast, if you go back and you can find me a clip where I said I love it, I'll send you a prize.
Jeff Royds, get on that. So anyway, how that can become, I hear you. I like the competitive, and the only reason why it's probably enjoyable to me at all is because of the competitive aspects and I too, Tracy, like to collect. So I get that. If I like that, I can go back and keep continuing raising my score, and that we can friend each other and follow. That's cool. That is really cool. However, the gun is heavy and awkward.
Not really.
I see. When you've got boobs, you can balance it. You just haven't got that down yet, Michelle. I'll teach you next time with her.
Okay.
I think she's just boob shamed you, to be fair, but okay.
I think we're fairly equal. She just hasn't learned how to balance.
We can test our boobs next time, Tracy. If you'd like to.
Interesting. Live in the Producers Club. The boob off.
We can compare boobies. I'm fine with that. The screens got me. It's really busy. It's a really busy ride. And a bit overwhelming. And I'm not a person that has sensory issues in any stretch of the imaginations, but it was a busy, busy ride. I wish that we could sit. I go to theme parks because I like actually riding rides, not because, again, I'm lazy. I just like riding on rides. And I feel like standing on a conveyor belt is not riding a ride. If I wanted to play a video game, I could compete against my friends on my Xbox at home.
To be fair, right?
My God.
I will say now that you said it's not a ride. Noah will disagree with you. Little Noah said seems like a ride to him. It seems like a ride to him. So I agree with Noah.
He's 3. He also poops in his pants. I mean, technically, yes, you're on a conveyor belt, riding something, but
right.
It gives you freedom. I like the freedom it gives you.
I like it a lot.
The thing is, when you've got the weird mindset that I've got, Jodie may well understand this. And we may be having another soul sister moment. Because of the way my mind is, and I don't like mess because my brain is just a mess, I get a bit obsessive over things. So I went into this. I went through the first time. It was whoa, so much. Came out, found all the things to collect and stuff, and started researching each one.
Obsessed.
So when I go into a ride, I'll have 2 or 3 things that I'm looking for to collect. And it kind of hones your vision. So the rest of it, all the other noise and imagery falls away, and you're just on this one quest.
Absolutely.
Okay, that's cool.
Yeah, and it's and especially when you're searching for something, because we came out and I went, I got the crown, and Lee went, what crown?
I had no idea what was going on. Doesn't mean I didn't enjoy it. So I've
tried 3 times. I tried to point that out to you.
I know. I do have a question though, Michelle.
That helps.
Why is it such a surprise to you that this is my number 1, but not that Men in Black would still be my number 1?
Well, Men in Black wasn't your number 1. Velocicoaster was.
But Men in Black was my number 1 for the longest time. For probably most of the time I've been, until I rode Velocicoaster, quite honestly, it was my number 1 attraction at Universal.
Because I've also heard you say that you like that it still, instead of screens, it still has real
things that don't work. Yeah.
But they are, I guess, they move. And you've talked about before how you don't want everything to be screen-based, and that's still one of the rides that has lasted without being screen-based. And then also, that, again, was not your most recent, and Men in Black didn't even make your top 5 most recently. So for me, the reason why it is low on the totem pole is because I'm not a huge thrill seeker. Velocicoaster is not my favorite because it still does scare me. But I do like to be thrilled in some way. So, how does that beat Hagrid's, for instance? I don't know, because I I love to be on a coaster and feel like a little bit of rush. And Minion is literally just a video game to me.
I agree with Tracy. Because of Hagrid's, because unless you know a team member who works the front of it, you're waiting an hour for it. Thanks, Ryan, by the way.
Yes, we love you.
Well, and honestly, listen, that week I was there, on several occasions, I went back and tried to ride it, as did my agents who were there, and it was over an hour wait every time.
Hagrid's?
No, Minion Blast.
Really?
No, we never saw it over 40 minutes.
Yep.
David and I, we didn't get to ride it this time.
Whoa.
Wow.
And I was very sad about it.
We never waited
Oh my
more than like
God.
30 minutes, I don't think, for it. And most of the time it was like 15 or 20. Anyway.
I assume, though, that it is pipping Velocicoaster to the post because you can just go round and round and ride it where you can't with Velocicoaster.
I don't know what because we had this conversation and it was like, have you ever seen it more than 15 minutes? Like, no, that's because no one wants to ride it. I'm like, yeah, but it could be because of the capacity and the throughput as well. He's like, no, it's because no one wants to ride it. And I disagree with him. So anyway. Minion Cafe, anyone? Yes, we've slaughtered that. I love it. I don't care what anyone thinks.
I love it. It's my number 2.
I adore that attraction. I was just looking for any
too.
excuse to say to Tracy, I want to ride it again.
Like any excuse, you just have to go, Minions.
Well,
yes.
I didn't know whether you
I was already
wanted
running
to, whether you
towards
get
it.
bored of it or not. But
You kidding? You give me a leaderboard and a little group of people, and I'm sorry, but I'm going to beat the lot of you.
Minion Cafe, yes. So
Minion Cafe. No.
we'll talk about it. Joni, how many times have you eaten there?
Twice.
And-
Once in July. No, actually twice in July.
Did you eat on this
Right when it opened.
most recent
No, we
trip
didn't.
then? No.
We didn't. No.
See, I'm wondering if that plays into it.
It could have.
Like we said at the time, Michelle, Tracy getting a Korean noodle dish probably wasn't the best idea.
Right. Even on the best day at the time was not a good.
No, but if I just point out, this is a dish that you cannot get
I
wrong,
know. You can.
but
Well,
you can.
Yeah.
And
it's
then
like a child's dish.
But
Yeah.
here's the thing, guys, is they rectified it amazingly.
Oh, yeah, I could
it
not fault
literally,
that.
literally within us grabbing that team member and telling him the issue, you had your new meatball mountain in front of you in what? 2 minutes?
My replacement meal that was different, yes.
2 minutes.
2 minutes, yeah.
So, like, they rectified it amazingly.
Yes, I
Yes.
cannot
Everybody's
fault.
allowed to make a mistake.
Yes, and we got the difference refunded,
Mm-hmm.
so I can't fault that.
No, they were really good at that, but then
However,
that meatball gave me the
that
shits
chef-
the next day.
Yeah, I was not well the next
yeah,
day.
my stomach was a bit iffy the next day as well.
Oh. I've not heard many good things, though, about the noodle dish. I've heard many people complaining about it.
I'm not being funny, but what sort of chef
No.
takes a frozen dumpling
was
straight
fro-
from the bag and puts it in the soup? You need to cook that thing first, and it has shrimp in it.
Yeah.
Of all the things to take a risk with, shrimp.
That is not one of them.
No.
Nope.
We are becoming the Universal Bashing Podcast, like it's been told, aren't we?
Not me. I will say great things. I had the ropa vieja, and
You
it
You
was
did say it was amazing.
amazing.
Yeah. But then, to be fair, that dessert was not great. That teddy bear brownie
No, it wasn't.
thing was a
Yours
bit rank. Mine was amazing. I would quite happily have that again.
Mine was okay, except
It was
it had been frozen. And the texture
Too
was
much
off because
frosting
the
on it,
frosted,
though,
like
wasn't it?
2/3 frosted.
But then
Although, however, I will fight for a bowl full of the bubblegum flavour frosting.
it
'cause
did taste exactly
hell,
like
that was
cheap
that was
bubblegum.
amazing. Cheap bubblegum from my childhood.
It was
Yeah.
good.
So yeah,
Um,
there's negatives and positives.
Yeah, I mean,
The
that was
place
a good-
looks amazing.
That was a good thing about having Michelle there as well, that we got to try a number of, because Michelle was like, I'm just going to order a crap ton of things so we can all try them. And like, I wouldn't have even thought about it, to be honest. Because the PX41 Punch, I'll be honest, I was kind of like, I don't know whether I want to try it because it just sounds rank. It was really good.
It was.
And Tracy actually shared it and
I
tried it with,
did.
It was good.
which normally she doesn't share drinks.
No.
So that's
And I
amazing.
went back in with the straw.
Yeah.
Mhm.
So
There's a bit too much frosting on the top, but the drink was actually really good.
it was
Look,
really cute though.
it's not going to put
I
me off.
like the frosting, and I almost went back in just for a drink the other day when I was there,
Mm.
because that drink was really good.
Is that
I
the
liked
purple
it.
Minion?
Yes.
It's the
The-
purple one.
yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it tastes like a nerd cluster. It was
Oh, it
so
does.
good.
It
It tasted
was
like
good.
grape Kool-Aid to me. Like it was so good. I
Mm.
loved
So
it.
good.
It was. I don't know whether I want to try the other one, the antidote, because banana soda does not sound like.
Hell was that?
Apparently, people like
Banana.
Kenneth's favourite thing now is me saying banana.
Oh, thanks, Kenneth. I've got to live with that.
I'd definitely try it again. The restaurant's cool. Like, it's somewhere I would definitely.
You've got to find things to
there's
see every time as well.
a ton more items on the menu to try that I want to try as well. So
Hey, and they were pretty efficient too. Like literally, we walked up at peak lunchtime and walked right in. Like they sat us. The ordering process was easy. They brought our food pretty quickly. They rectified a situation pretty quickly. Like it was a pretty good quick service experience, to be honest with you.
We might get onto it later, but I think Fast Food Boulevard needs to take a leaf out of Minion Cafe's book, because that experience was a show. But we'll get onto that later.
Yeah.
Just one last little thing. I mean, I'm still waiting for my chopsticks.
Not a spoon.
No, it's chopsticks.
Yeah, but you said you didn't have it. I can get you a spoon.
Oh, a spoon, yeah. But this is the thing. If you're going to serve a noodle dish, have some disposable chopsticks available for people, because, you know, some people do actually like to use them. I need to start carrying them around again. But yeah.
Yeah.
I don't want to talk about freeze ray pops too much, because obviously we've got our listener debate and our first one is already in the bag. I'm not going to say who it was by, but we've heard it being recorded. It was funny.
Oh, yes.
Johnny, have you been to freeze ray pops? You can talk about it.
I have not.
Really?
I chose Bake My Day. No, I didn't get one. I did get some treats from Bake My Day, but not the freeze. But next time, it's on my list.
Oh, it has to be.
I almost tried it, but the line was too long, and I didn't
You
feel
haven't
like
had
waiting.
one either?
No.
Wow.
Well, another reason is it was July when we were going to, and it was too hot. Everyone had them, and they were melting immediately.
Well, we found that in September.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'll get one in October when I go back and record a
Lick
review.
my stick, as
And I'll do the
Jessica.
same.
Oh, yeah. Lick my stick.
For definite. Bake My Day was cute.
Ah, it was.
I got the Minion cake pop, and you had the
Banana roll.
banana. Oh yeah.
However, I have regret. I need that bag. I need that Minion backpack that has cotton candy hair.
We witnessed
I
it.
need it.
Oh,
We
it is so
witnessed-
cute.
Yeah.
We witnessed a child going around the cotton candy tubs, lifting the lids and licking the cotton candy. So we told the
Oh my
We
god.
we told
Yeah.
the team member behind the counter, and he just kind of shrugged. But he said, "There's nothing
He didn't. He
we
said
can do about
we've
it." And
been
it's like,
watching
you
it.
would be amazed at how many things we get stolen from this
Yeah.
store. And I was like, "What?"
But this is also the woman who was just laughing at her kids, running riot around this place, and then tried to take our order.
He was really sweet.
He was
I can't remember
really
what he was
nice. No,
called
I
as
don't
well.
remember.
He was excellent.
He was a really good team member.
I've seen the same sort of thing happen at the candy stores at the front of the parks too,
Why?
where kids reach their hands
Oh
in
my
and grab
God.
stuff and fill up bags and then run off.
I
Oh,
don't understand, especially with little kids with the parents around. Parents, you are not off duty. Your
Yeah.
kids are still your responsibility. You know, I just don't get
understand
it.
why they don't put the containers up out of
Yeah.
children's
Yeah.
reach so that only adults can access them. But
Yeah.
whatever.
But then again, children should be taught
True.
to
should.
keep the hands and the tongues
Or-
to themselves.
I think supervised is a good word because
Yes.
the ones that I've seen, the parents weren't even around. So
Exactly.
there's that.
But yeah, it was interesting walking into Minion Land with Tracy. Obviously, you haven't been here for the last
No, I
3
haven't
months
seen
when
anything
we've
coming
been
up.
talking
No.
about Minion Blast and all the rest of it. So for you to walk in
It was
as clean as you could be
Yeah.
was very interesting, and me knowing like all the stuff we've talked about was pretty cool actually.
Yeah. It's been crazy seeing the changes. There were so many changes,
But
not just there.
I'm very happy with that addition.
I think it's great.
Cool.
I think so too. I liked it.
Right, we're going to take a quick break because Michelle wouldn't forgive me if we didn't. I might not put the ad in. We're just going to take a break, and then we'll be right back.
Man, we need a vacation.
Oh, I got this.
Whoa, that's awesome. But I was thinking something a little more adventurous.
Okay, how about this?
And how about some relaxation from Mama?
Oh, perfect. How did you do that?
Easy. PortKey Vacations.
For your next vacation, let PortKey Vacations take away all the guesswork and stress of planning. From air and hotel to theme park tickets and everything else in between, they've got you covered. Just visit PortKeyVacations.com and touch the PortKey to get started with your free, no-obligation quote request. With just one touch, and PortKey Vacations will magically take you wherever you want to go.
Welcome back, everyone. We are recapping our thoughts on our recent trip, and I kind of want to talk about the places we ate at, because we ate at some new places this trip.
We did, because we kind of kicked ourselves up the arse.
I mean, chime in if anyone ate anywhere new, but we tried Finnegan's for the first time, and I know.
Uh-huh.
I haven't eaten
First time?
Yes.
I haven't eaten there. This past week when I went down for that one night was the first time I've even gotten a drink there.
It's crazy, isn't
Really?
it? I
It's
know.
funny, this is the first time I've had a drink there. I've had many drinks there now.
And I feel so bad because it was Brian Cooper who had... So he was like, oh, we've got a reservation for Stay and Scream at like 3 o'clock. If you want to come and join us, crack on. And that is the best Stay and Scream
my God,
experience of
yeah.
our lives. We just sat in Finnegan's till we were ready to go and join the line for a house.
Apart from...
Oh, that singing
very,
show.
very bad timing to have that. They were off key. It was really bad. The singing show that's in the street outside.
Sing it.
Is that what it's called?
Yeah.
They should sing off.
Well, I
And
know a
then-
few of them.
So, well, I'm sorry, but you were off key and it was really
It was just
horrible.
really loud. The poor attendance at the
Yeah.
front of that restaurant that's where it is. So that show was going on, and they're trying to like take people's reservations.
Yeah.
They couldn't hear a thing.
And the speakers were pointed the wrong way, so it was just bouncing around. But then they also had the busker inside.
Oh, see, Johnny's awesome.
He is. But
Yeah,
it
there was a lot of
it
noise
was
going
so
on.
much noise going on. Though
Yeah,
at one point,
there
I
was.
just put my head in my hands because I couldn't cope with it. And it was
Too
just,
much.
It was.
There was a
way
lot going
too
on. I
much.
feel sorry for those poor team members working.
I don't
in
know
that
how they did
place.
it.
So I got to ask you,
But,
Lee.
yes.
So their reservation had to have been at 2:45 at the latest because
No, it was
I
3
tried
o'clock.
one
Yeah,
the
3.
It was
latest.
3 o'clock on the button. I can guarantee
Yeah.
you.
So they let you stay there from 3 for like 3 hours.
Yep.
Yeah.
We ate. We had a meal.
There was us. So there was me.
They came in and
Tracy.
put our wristbands on while we were
Yeah,
there.
there was me, Tracy, Brian, Laura, Zine and his friend Maddie, Kayla, Caroline, and that was it, wasn't it? Yes, there was like 8 of us.
There was 7 of us in the end. When Zine left, there was 7 of us.
Well,
And
Zine
they
and Maddie
didn't,
must have
like,
gone.
Zine and Maddie
Try to
left
shoo
you.
you away after you guys were done eating or anything.
Nope, they were quite happy for us to sit
Yeah,
there.
we
They
just-
came round and scanned our tickets and gave
Yeah.
us wristbands. We were in there till
Okay.
about 5:45.
Because
Yeah.
I thought about doing that with my agents, and I opted for Amatista instead because I was like 2:45. That's a long time to wait, and I just know they're going to kick me out. That's
it
too
was
long.
it was
No.
perfect. Quite
Yeah.
honestly, it is
Okay.
the most seamless Stay and Scream experience we've had. It was so easy.
And
In
I-
fact, to be fair, we didn't even get in till 3:10 because Brian and Laura were late.
Yeah. But
Good
they
to
knew
know.
we were there. They knew we were waiting
Yeah.
because somebody had been up to the...
But they won't
Desk.
seat you until everybody's there.
Yeah.
Well, can I throw in a little complaint about that Stay and
course.
Scream?
Yes.
And that is that as a day guest, that Stay and Scream really sucks because, so you know, like Simpsons, they keep the main thoroughfare open.
Yeah.
Right. Okay. At that Stay and Scream over in New York, they shut off the entire street. So like right where the Mummy starts, they put up
Yes.
dividers and cannot get through. So Maddie and I, it was like not even 4 o'clock yet. Maddie from Rush of Fear and I just wanted to go get a drink from Finnegan's. We didn't need to do the Stay and Scream because we were doing an RIP. So we were on the tribute store side, and they wouldn't let us through. In order to get into the stand to like where Finnegan's was letting people in, again, it was like the park wasn't even anywhere near being closed yet.
Yeah.
We had to walk all the way around to
Yeah.
where Transformers is, all the way around, and actually scan our tickets for Stay and Scream starting at 4 o'clock.
Oh, so over by so where the Lou Wasserman statue
Like
is.
Louis, by
Yeah.
Louis. We
Yeah.
had to go they had that whole thoroughfare
right.
blocked off,
And it's
and the park wasn't even closed yet.
You can't impact your day guests.
No.
Oh, it
no,
was. If
that's,
I'd been,
yeah.
Yeah.
I'd been a paying like day guest who was only there for the
Odd.
day and did, but not an AP, I would have been livid.
Well, we had something similar. I wanted a
I
coffee
thought
at
you were
Today
going to bring
Cafe.
it. So we were actually
And they
gonna,
wouldn't even let me
no,
just
we
go
were
in.
going to go
We
in
were.
there for Stay and Scream,
Yeah.
and it was like 2 minutes to 5. No, we closed.
And they
And there was people in there. Like,
Yeah.
I don't...
and they also wouldn't let me just get a coffee.
I don't
to
know.
take
That
out.
was weird. It was very strange.
No, this wasn't even 4
Yeah.
o'clock. The
Yeah.
park didn't close till 5. Like,
Oh,
it
yeah.
wasn't even like, okay, fine. Put up the dividers on the side of the street or halfway through the street on the side where Finnegan's is, and then pull it out at 5 o'clock. But like, you're cutting off literally half of your park.
Yeah.
An hour early, and it was not crowded. Like the Stay and Scream area, there was nobody standing in the streets.
But you think back to last year, that whole area was part of Stay and Scream, right the way around to, like, including Gramercy Park, and yet this year it cuts off, like, across from the Mummy, because me and Gillian were going to go, because obviously all those food booths aren't there that were there last year. They've kind of spread them out around the park.
They do allow a lot of people for Stay and Scream, though.
They had all of the lines, and Gramercy. They had like all of the lines for the houses already lining up
Yeah.
in
Yeah,
Gramercy
weird this
and
year.
we
before
had
4
that.
o'clock.
I mean, obviously they're just trying some new things, and some things will stick and some things won't. But
I hope that one does it, because that was terrible.
Yeah.
I do not like the way they're doing Stay and Scream now. We're not even doing it at all, because a few years ago we would do the Simpsons area. You could hang out, sit down, get up, just chill out in the air conditioning. Now you start lining up when the Stay and Scream starts.
Yeah.
That's not what I'm there for.
No.
If you're going to line up there, just line up for the house later.
That's what I'm saying. You're waiting and standing in a line for 3 hours either way. So
Right.
what is the point of Stay and Scream?
Yeah.
We didn't do it at all this trip, and I don't regret it at all.
See, we did.
I really enjoyed the first one we did.
No, I didn't.
Oh.
We'll talk about that, I'm sure, when we start talking about Horror Nights in a few weeks. But yeah, we did that in Finnegan's, and then the Wednesday night we were in Louis with a big. So we kind of did it ideally, because there was a group already in Louis, so we're like, oh, just come and join us in Louis, and we went in there. But anyway, Finnegan's. I enjoyed Finnegan's.
What did you eat?
I had some chicken burger, I think.
All right, I had the fish and chips, and it was really good.
Good.
Yeah.
The Guinness on
the
the other
Guinness
hand,
wasn't. That I sent back.
It's like, what the hell's that? She actually
Oh my
said,
God.
what the that?
What was wrong with it?
The poor server went off like a rocket.
Well, it
See
had
ya.
like about 2 millimeters of head.
Oh.
And it's kind of like
It was
so.
funny.
So I pointed out, and I said it hasn't been poured properly. It needs repouring. The head should be, and I showed him the mark where it should be. And I tried, and I explained that the creamy head needs to like dissipate through the body of it to give the flavor and the depth that you get.
My God, where's Chris when you need him?
Yeah.
This-
Oh, well.
Well, it came down to the
And it
fact we
came-
agreed that it was in a plastic glass, not a
Oh
glass
yeah,
glass.
I re-poured it myself into my water glass, but it came back and it was the same. And I was just like, I gave up, and it tasted terrible because it was a bad pour.
Anyway, we're bashing everything.
We're not bashing everything. It's just if you're going to serve an authentic Irish drink and an authentic,
It's not authentic.
that's
is
why
it?
I'm doing the finger thingies.
What's supposed
Get
to
it
be
right.
authentic?
Yeah.
It's not that difficult to pour it.
We usually have really great drinks there, and that's usually our go-to if we're with
Yeah.
the group.
Oh, my others were
And that may
great.
be due to David and Kyle doing Irish car bombs.
Oh yes, thank you for that. I am converted.
I remember that. I've seen. I've
Oh,
got
yeah,
this
you
photographic.
joined, yeah.
I
there's
did.
photographic evidence of the aftermath,
I
and
just
everyone
like-
looks incredibly sober, surprisingly.
I would just like to point out that I downed mine faster than anybody else.
I know you did.
That's right.
Going off the back of what Michelle said, we went to Amatista for the first time.
Yeah.
Feel like
Yeah.
we're being quite negative. Was not impressed.
Maybe we should have moved them
Oh
around
my
a bit. Not impressed.
I mean, my stomach was a bit dodgy that night, so I only got like a flatbread, and but the
We didn't
service,
finish that.
like the guy
chick-
came.
I had the chicken and it was
You did
very
say it was
good.
good, but
The food is very good.
It was the restaurant's gorgeous.
It is. It's
We had a
beautiful.
great view out over the lagoon. It was the service more than anything. The guy who was running around taking our order, like he came over and took our drinks order, and we were like, "Oh, can I get a Coke?" And Tracy got I can't remember what you had, but we said, "Can we get a glass of water each as well?" And He went, oh yeah, no problem, I'll get that. And there was like a woman stood down the bottom just ambling around doing absolutely nothing. And we didn't get our drinks for about 20 minutes.
Wow.
I had a similar experience.
But the thing is, the water is there in jugs. You sit somebody down, and as soon as your server comes over to introduce himself, pour the water there and then.
To be fair, most places in America, like when we've been here, it's usually just like you get handed a water whether you've asked for it or not.
But also, we saw a lot of staff just standing around talking.
It was very strange.
And it was.
But our server was rushed off his feet.
It was. You got your drink, and then I had to wait for mine. And I know mine came from a different section because yours are just fountain soda, and I must have had alcohol. It's me. I had alcohol, obviously. But then the food came out. That was slow.
Yep.
The bread was very good though. The bread was amazing. I cannot fault the food. The food was amazing.
It was. Again, we'd definitely go back. Yeah.
I'd go back. But the service was just. It was like, really, you need to rock it up your arse, you lot.
And it was about 8 o'clock, I think.
Yeah, and it wasn't busy.
No, it wasn't busy.
It was maybe a third full.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
You know,
see, I went for technically lunch, so we had a reservation at like 3. And when we had a large party, we had about 8 or 9 of us there, with a reservation. Our waitress at first was very attentive and funny, and I was like, oh, this is gonna be great. Because we had a large party, we weren't ready to order yet. She gave us waters, which was fun, took our drink orders, and she was like, do you need a minute? And I said, yeah, give us a minute. Literally 40 minutes later, after we couldn't even see her to flag her down. Like, she just disappeared. So literally we had to go over to the front, to the host stand, and be like, we need somebody to come take our order.
Wow.
And at that point, the manager got involved, and he was like, he saved the day. If it hadn't been for the manager, it would have been awful. But he saved the day and gave us a round of free desserts for everybody to try, and really made up for it. And then of course the waitress came over and apologized, and she was like, I'm sorry. I thought that last we talked was that you needed some time. And I was like,
minute.
Yeah, but not 40 minutes.
A few minutes, not 40. And she was like, oh, well, I'm sorry. I was like, okay. And the food was okay. It wasn't anything to scream home about. No, I had the flat bread as well, and I would not call it flat
Which
bread.
one did you have, Michelle? Was it the mojo chicken? No.
I had the, it was pepperoni and sausage.
Okay, I got the mojo chicken.
But when I get flatbread pizza, I think of it as literally flat bread. And this was thicker bread.
So it was a long pizza.
It was a thick bread.
Yeah,
it was a thick bread pizza. It was pizza. It wasn't flatbread. I was like, I'm confused.
Okay.
I would go back again because the manager saved the day, and the desserts were amazing. But it was an interesting experience for sure.
And it's not a cheap. I tell you what, I've noticed. So not so much on our last 2 trips last year, but this one, food-wise, was very, very expensive this trip round. Very.
It was. Yeah.
We went to the kitchen with Brian and Laura and Madeline and Kevin and Zine and Maddie and Kayla, and I feel like there was somebody, Chris and Alexa, who were going home that night but apparently still turned up, and then got a hotel room that night and was still there the next day, as Chris and Alexa tend to do. Tracy and I, you got some alcoholic drink.
Yes.
I had a Coke. You had what? I had French. No, that was there.
No, I had soup.
Yeah.
A chicken soup that was an appetizer.
Starter, yeah.
And some potatoes.
Right, and a dessert you had.
And the dessert was the peach cobbler.
Right.
Oh, yeah, it was a peach drink I had.
And I had...
Peach alcoholic drink.
A flatbread starter, I think, and then a red velvet cake, and it came to $100.
Wow.
Yeah.
So I made sure I took the pen.
And it was good, but it wasn't $100 good.
No.
I've never been to the kitchen.
I wouldn't bother.
I enjoyed it.
I enjoyed it, but I don't like those prices.
No, but I found that everywhere. We paid
not for a mediocre soup and literally some boiled potatoes.
No. So we went to Vivo on Thursday night after the Dead Coconut Club. In the middle of the Dead Coconut Club, I suppose you want to say, because we went back afterwards.
Yeah.
fantastic
Oh, I
meal. Trace
love
had a glass of wine. She had the lasagna. I had the spaghetti bolognese
Our
and a soft
server
drink.
was amazing.
I think it was like $60 for the pair of us, and a much higher end than the kitchen or Ametista.
And we had a really nice seat as well because we could see the kitchen, we could see into the restaurant. It was lovely atmosphere. The food was amazing.
The bread was great, and it was nowhere near as expensive as Ametista or Mythos. To be fair, our experience in Mythos wasn't the best.
It wasn't bad at all. It was just, I think we had expectations from our last trip.
The zucchini fritters were amazing.
Oh my goodness, yes. Yes, they were good. But yeah, unfortunately, for some weird reason, the fork, knife and spoon grilled cheese was not the best. And when they sent 2 dishes out, we both ordered the same thing, and they both looked completely different.
Funny, I was listening back to our audio from it today, and you said that at the time, how you serve 2 dishes that look very different.
They go to
that
the
should
same
be exactly
table.
the same.
Yeah.
Right.
And it was just like, okay. And it didn't taste as good. Our server was very busy, and she was lovely.
She was lovely.
Yes.
Michelle, anywhere you ate?
Not anywhere new. Just Ametista was the new one. So I didn't, other than HHN food, I didn't do a whole lot of new restaurants.
Okay. Joni?
We did eat at Cowfish for the first time, I believe.
Oh.
Actually, no, that was the last trip. This trip, I don't think we tried anything new. We just tried the HHN food.
Okay.
And pizza at 3 a.m.
Oh, that's where it tastes the best.
Yes.
We ate a lot of Pier 8, and I love the food at Pier 8. It's the
I think that's why I like staying at Dockside.
The breakfast we had breakfast there 4 times. It's something different every time. It was great. With the pizza from there's fantastic.
Told you.
That's reasonable.
That is what I miss about those value resorts during HHN trips are those food markets, because they really hit after HHN for sure.
That's what we did when we came back.
Cabana's the same as a really good food court.
When we came back from tapping out of opening night because we were drenched, that's what we did. Showered, changed. I went down, got a pizza, and we just sat and chilled out, wait for the rain to go. And I will categorically state once again, the best and best value place to eat on property, I stand by it again, is the place we have eaten at more than anywhere since it opened, is the Today Cafe. I adore that
love
place.
That place. Did we work out we've now eaten every sandwich on the board?
Yes, between us.
And I'm now eating all the meat ones. I'm sorry, my vegetarian people.
3 or 4 times this trip. I love it. And it's cheap and cheerful, but the food's great. Just get sat in the window on those bar seats and just look at the world go by and watch the wait time for Fast and Furious be higher than everything else is funny.
Yeah.
I think I sent a picture in the group chat to Chris and Michelle, and like, what the hell?
Yes.
I adore that place.
I agree to a point. When they opened back up after COVID, they changed their meat, and it's thicker than it was before. So
is that a good thing or a bad thing?
I like thicker meat.
No, it is not a good thing.
I think that's a good thing.
People like me. People like normal people, it is. People like me, no, because I loved the thin turkey. And now it's really thick and I can't eat it. But it was my favorite place to eat. I would eat it,
I love it
twice a day if I could.
Yeah.
Now, not so much.
See that? I think for me then, because I didn't have it before, I've got nothing to compare it to. So compared to what we get over here, it's still very thin meat to me.
I love the place. It's just like we had breakfast in there one morning. We had lunch there twice. We just popped in for a snack. It's Tracy, your go-to place for a coffee.
Yeah,
I love it.
Yeah, the breakfast can't be beat.
Yeah, I'm still desperate to try those overnight oats, but every time I go in, I feel like, I don't want to eat oats for breakfast. Just give me a blueberry muffin.
Boring.
Yep.
But I kind of alluded to it. We went to Fast Food Boulevard. Oh my God, that place is a nightmare. I wish
it's a wreck.
They should just do mobile ordering the same as Minion Cafe, because we got a chicken and waffle sandwich each, but then I wanted one of the signature drinks, and the drinks place isn't part of the rest of the restaurant. It's kind of separate on its own. Do I go and get my drink first? Do I pay for it and then? So we didn't, because it's that long since we've been in there. So we're trying to figure out how to do it. And the girl on the till had no idea.
She was not being very bright.
Not very helpful at all.
No, to be honest, I'm trying to pay, and the girl on the next till, she just leaned over and she went, "Just charge her for it, because he's over there getting it. And then that frees up your line." And she was not getting it.
So by the time we actually sat down,
Oh,
it was like lukewarm. So it wasn't good. I was very disappointed because I used to love
honest,
the chicken and waffle sandwich.
It wasn't good anyway.
No, disappointed because I used to love that place.
I did too, and it's the same with me. Again, I have very weird food issues with texture and things. I used to get the spinach wrap. Well, now they make them up so far in advance, they're all soggy. They're soggy no matter when you get them. So it's just a waste of money.
Yeah.
So, without trying to, this podcast has become very negative.
It has.
So maybe we should talk about the positive, which was our amazing RP tour.
Yeah, I think you're probably right.
Yeah.
Look, I don't want to say... Look,
it's not being negative. We know what they're capable of. We're just disappointed.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
But yes,
in fairness, I did say I had the weird tendency, so I kind of blame myself there too.
Yeah, I think we just expect higher things from them, and we know they can be better.
Yeah.
It's just, and it's little issues. It's nothing major. We had a great trip again, but it's just some little things. That's what we do, isn't it? We're theme park nerds. That's what we do. We find up on the little things that we know they can do better. And if people aren't pulling them up on these things, then they're never going to get better.
Honestly, we're doing this because we still want them to remain, in our eyes, better than Disney.
Yes.
Stay better than Disney.
We'll talk about that later, but yes,
maybe.
They are still very much way better than Disney.
I was going to say, Michelle, we're about to fall out here. Hang on.
Yeah.
I don't want to talk too much about Halloween Horror Nights because we're going to do that, and we've kind of, I think, I don't want spoilers and stuff for houses and stuff for when we actually do our house list, but our RIP tour, again, was phenomenal.
Of course.
Right. And part of that is the problem, right? Like when it's the 1%er thing. When you experience what they're capable of, then your expectations are raised. And we've done enough RIP tours and VIP tours now that we know they're capable of being amazing.
Yes.
The problem is we've ruined Halloween Horror Nights not only for the people that have come on our RIP tours, but there's so many RIP tour groups out there that Producers Club members or friends who've met through the podcast doing RIP tours now that everyone else is getting ruined as well.
Brilliant.
We have sold so many RIP tours that I think Universal should give the host a free one.
Yeah. With Rich.
Yes, shout out to Rich.
We love Rich.
Which is awesome.
We always get him.
And speaking of Rich, and I meant to say this rewind during the Minion Blast argument, Rich told me that they actually will put a chair on the track for you for those who need it or children.
Okay.
Okay, interesting.
Yeah.
What, just from like a Minions Cafe, just go and pull one of the chairs out of there and stick it on for you?
He said it's kind of like a wheelchair, but higher. So that like for children, they can be up higher, or if people need to sit instead of stand, that they'll do that for you. I was like,
weird.
Okay,
that's
a bit of information regarding Rich.
Interesting.
But yeah, RIP, freaking amazing.
Yes.
Freaking amazing every single time. I mean, you just can't get any better than that. It's worth every penny.
I mean, ending the night off being underneath the mummy, watching the end section of that ride was like, this is the best end to any night ever.
I have chills right now because this was our first RIP. It will not be our last.
No,
definitely
of course it won't.
But I had tears so many moments. There were so many things we got to do. And it wasn't just that night. The other nights we were there, we could relax because we knew we would do everything during the RIP night. Exactly. It made our whole weekend amazing. It was perfect.
Yep.
Yeah.
So much fun.
Apart from Tracy's wheelchair going walkabout.
That was ridiculous.
I felt sorry for Austin. Austin, if you're listening, I do apologise.
Yes,
it was the worst possible time for you to introduce yourself. It's like, hi Lee, I'm Austin. I love the podcast. And like Tracy's like, where the f*** is my wheelchair?
I'm so sorry. Honestly, Lee will tell you, I felt the rest. I still feel guilty now. And I was like, oh my God, I feel so bad.
I saw him again later. I think when we came out of the darkest deal, he was over there.
I'm so sorry. It was so nice to meet you. But who moves a bloody wheelchair?
It was very strange. Anyway, we're bashing again.
No. But
however, they rectified it. Like Rich went off on his own escapade to find it, and he was not going to let it go.
Oh no!
But the amusing side of it, where had they put it? At ET of all the places to put my wheelchair. ET. I thought that was really funny.
It was.
Because
yeah.
But it was amazing.
Yeah.
It was amazing.
As
It
always.
was a fantastic
We'll
group of
talk
people
about
again.
it more on a
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, we
It's
will.
expensive, but worth every penny in my
It is.
eyes.
And then on the
especially if you split it. If if you get 12 people together and you split that cost,
Yeah.
it's not so bad.
No.
No, compared to what you get to do, it really is honestly not that bad.
I mean, literally, you get to do anything you want to do the whole night. You want to go in Men in Black immigration tour? Okay, let's go. You
Yeah.
want to go watch the show? Okay, let's go and sit you right in front of. Literally, I had sweat flinging on me. I was so close to the dancers.
Oh, yeah.
Oh,
We could have
oh,
stuck our
that-
tongues. Oh, Jodie had the best moment, though.
Yeah,
Jillian
like
and I had the best seats. That was a moment I don't think we'll ever forget.
Nope.
Ever.
right.
It was
I
when...
mean,
it
the
was
park.
amazing.
Literally, the park is yours,
Yeah.
and it's amazing.
Magical. It's magical. It really
Yeah.
is.
On the one that we did the other night, it started to sprinkle. Oh, we might need ponchos. Here you go.
Yeah.
Rich
Yeah.
started throwing out ponchos to all of us.
Yep.
Wow.
Yeah.
It's like, I mean, you're literally taking care of like royalty,
Yeah,
and it's amazing.
I was just going to say, talk about the client is king. And then you said that,
We
yeah.
do need to do a daytime VIP tour at some point. I'd
love
love
to
to
do
do the
that.
parks. I know we talked about it a couple of years ago, didn't we? I think doing that during the day would be immense.
Well, you know,
It would be.
when
It's
Epic
got a
opens...
private one too, though, if you're going to get that same level of personalization.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I've done a non-private, and it was fabulous. But you still have to go kind of by their schedule when
Yeah.
it's a non-private.
Of
Yeah.
course.
Oh, another thing on an RIP that I discovered, they also will give you a free locker if you need it.
Yeah, I used it last year. Oh, you weren't
Oh.
there, were you?
Oh,
No,
I'm forgetting when we did ours last year, I had
Mhm.
my big backpack with me and I was like, can I get a locker? And Rich was like, oh, yeah, you get a complimentary one. So, yeah,
Oh,
yeah.
yeah, we did that.
you need a wheelchair, they'll find you
Yeah.
a wheelchair.
Yeah.
Like, it's just so.
Anything you need, they can take care of.
Yeah.
Honestly, it's
And it-
phenomenal.
yeah.
But it is expensive. And I know I've seen people going into October of talking about 4,500 up to like 5,000. I think that is a little steep, to be
Oh,
fair.
yeah.
Wow. It is. Yeah, that is a lot.
But then on the flip side of that, we went to see what Disney have to offer for Halloween, didn't we? That was an interesting night.
Yes, we did.
I've been looking forward to this forever. I've been
was
begging for this
good.
forever.
See, Chris and I talked
wanna
about
do
it
it
quite
again.
a lot, that if I was to do the Magic Kingdom over the next few years, this was how I would do it.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, perfect.
Because take all the Halloween stuff out, this is the way to do the Magic Kingdom.
Yeah.
Nothing was more than a 10-minute ride. I mean, we
Wait.
hit all the highlights.
Mhm.
Tron, Seven Dwarves, Big Thunder Mountain, Space Mountain, TTA, Pirates, Haunted Mansion,
Yeah.
It's a Small World. We hit the highlights.
Yes.
Yeah.
We did.
Plus,
Easily. And watch the parade,
The
and
parade,
watch the fireworks.
Yeah.
and a little bit of
parade's a 4-hour bloody thing.
Sanderson Sisters.
thing. Plus, we got food. We did a couple of the trick or treat trails.
Mhm.
We nearly had some fisticuffs. You know, we nearly got our ankles bashed. We saw that Disney people are a very
Nearly.
different breed from Universal people. Like we talked about it, just getting into the park. Jesus Christ!
The amount of
That was
entitlement that Disney people
Yes.
have is insane.
Yeah.
And this is coming
Legit.
from somebody who is also a Disney lover. I'm Universal all the way, but I like Disney too, and I go often.
Mhm.
But experiencing it with a group of people that don't do Disney very often, and like-minded Universal people was very eye-opening to me, because I was like, you know what? You're right.
Yeah, it's crazy.
This is a very different breed of people, and which is fine. People walking around and with Mickey ears, that's all good. Yay, happy, peace and love. That's great. But the fact that these people, because they have children, think that they can bully around a group of adults is
Yeah.
unreal.
Yeah, I had that happen specifically, and I got very frustrated. I kept it in, kept my Mickey ears on,
Yeah.
kept composure, but it was a character I wanted to meet and have a photo with, and there were parents literally just walking straight in front of me,
Wow.
pushing their kids in front of me like, their kid needs magic because they're a kid. Well, I'm an adult. I need some magic too.
Mhm.
And I paid just as much as you did to be
Yep.
here.
Yep.
And I'm getting my, what picture.
But this
Yep.
is where the handlers need to come in. There should be somebody.
It is.
And it never
Controlling
used
the
to be like
lines.
that at Disney.
No.
But they're not allowed to. And that's where Disney entitlement comes from, because Disney
Yeah.
has such a reputation of the customer is always right, which I get that in
But which
customer
customer?
service. But there's got to be a line. There has to be a place where the line is drawn and it becomes clear that you're just an a-hole and we're not going to give you what you want.
Right.
And it's a learning curve for children that you have to wait. And
Yes.
sometimes you don't get what you want.
Let's put it
That's
into
life.
let's put it into perfect perspective. Opening night at Halloween Horror Nights 32. It was pouring down with rain.
It was horizontal.
It was rammed to the rafters.
I had to wring my spleen out when we got back to the hotel.
I never saw anyone losing their temper.
People were laughing.
Getting angry at anybody, getting frustrated, pushing people out of the way. None of that.
No.
Yeah, you go to the Magic Kingdom for a family party on a gorgeous night and people have been taking crazy pills all day.
Yeah,
we didn't even get in. And there was an issue with somebody in our party, wasn't there? Who technically, mildly was assaulted.
It was crazy.
Technically, yeah.
Because you don't lay hands on people.
Yeah, the meal that we had at Disney was phenomenal.
It was expensive is what it was.
Oh, yeah, before we went in. Oh, that was amazing.
It was good.
Phenomenal. Yes. I'm going to stretch and say that was the best meal that I've had with you guys and all of our trips that we've had together. It was so good.
I hate to say it, but you're probably right.
Yes.
The service was amazing.
Yes.
The experience was amazing. The food was it was great.
Oh, there was a couple of things.
There was a couple of things that we found out afterwards.
It would have been nice for when she said, "Oh, yes, you can change out that whatever steak it was that was I can't think which one it was on the menu for
the
medallions."
steak.
Yes, she did not. She neglected to tell us that the medallions were $19 more.
Oh.
Yeah, and also with the shall I bring you flights of sauces out?
Yeah, $2.50 a piece.
Yeah.
You guys are funny.
What?
Do you know?
It's a good job podcast was paying for it, because I tell you what, if I'd have been paying for it, it'd have been a different story.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, but it was an amazing experience. It was Steakhouse 71 for those of you who are wondering at the Contemporary Resort, and it was fabulous.
Yes.
Our waitress was amazing.
Yes.
The
Everybody
supervisor
was
around and helped was amazing. Like they were.
I think Chris said when we were recording, the guy who came over and spoke to us was like an ex-Universal guy from like 15 years.
The only thing I would have liked was if they'd actually given us time to eat our appetizers before they brought the entrees out.
They did do it quickly, yeah.
Because it was really fast and I hadn't even started on my
Was that when you had the French soup?
Yeah, that was delicious.
Yeah,
and
it was really
I
good.
do not eat steak very often at all, and that was amazing steak.
It was so good.
Yeah.
All right, Lee, I gotta go.
No. We'll see you next week.
Love to you all.
All
right.
All right. Love y'all. Bye.
Bye.
Bye. Can we on Disney now? You had a bad first couple of hours at Mickey's Not So Scary as well, didn't you? Joni, you had issues with David trying to get on Tron first off, didn't you?
We did. We had watched the vloggers. We had, read all the information we could before we went to try to make sure he would be able to. I didn't want to waste time getting a virtual queue if he wasn't able to ride.
Yeah.
And if you haven't seen David in person, his calves are like Hagrid's. They're like, small trees. And so we tried the test seat out front. The worker was very nice, helped him, showed him how to do it. It was great. Now, I do have one complaint about that. It's right in front of the queue where everyone's staring at you.
Yep. We said that when we walked past it.
Yeah, and you're laying down. It's not a comfortable position to be in,
No.
And especially if you're feeling vulnerable. So I do have a problem with that. But moving on, he fit the test seat. We got so excited. I had a couple tears. I was very excited for him. We waited, and overall, we waited about 2 hours to get on the ride. Because of waiting, you can't be late for that virtual, and we were afraid to go much farther away.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
We didn't want to miss it. So we get through the line. Long story short, he gets on. I'm already on. I'm already like hooked in, and he doesn't fit. It will not lock down on his legs. And it has nothing to do with upper body. It's all your legs, basically, with that ride. So he didn't get to ride. And they said we could ride. There's one cart with a regular seat.
It's like a little beetle. It looks like a beetle on the back.
Yes. So we went to the line for that. It was so long. I said, this isn't worth it. It's not going to happen.
No,
No,
I
we'd
didn't want to
already-
waste another
Yeah,
hour
exactly.
of our
Yeah.
party.
No.
So we left, and it really hit us
Yeah.
because we wasted so much time at the party. You don't
Yes.
have that long.
No.
So yeah, and then we met up with you, and you all lifted our spirits.
Good.
So
We did.
Yes.
We had a pretty good night overall for how
Mhm.
much we managed to hit, because we didn't get in there as early as I'd probably wanted to, because we were in Steakhouse 71 for quite a while. But like I say, we hit all the major attractions. We nearly drowned on Pirates of the Caribbean.
Oh, that was interesting.
um,
Oh, we had a crash.
so honestly, that's how I would do the Magic Kingdom from now on, or do like Mickey's Very Merry Christmas Party, something like that, rather than paying whatever it is, $160 to go into the park and deal with massive crowds on a normal day. Just do one of the
Yes.
party nights. Like, even
Yeah.
if you're not bothered about the party, just do the attractions.
And when it's hot, like the weather was incredibly hot.
yeah.
It's not much cooler, but it's a little cooler towards like the early evening, dusk. And
Oh yeah, it
cools a
definitely
little into
cooled
the night.
off.
So that works much better. Just going back to Tron though, I had trouble with my calves on that ride. I had to get them to unlock
you?
it. Yeah, because
Which is weird considering you've rid the exact same coaster over here.
the leg restraints are different though. And I just could not get it took a couple of attempts. I couldn't get my legs in a comfortable position. I felt like they were being nipped, like pinched, and
Yeah.
it was I couldn't concentrate on anything else. And maybe that's my sensory issues as well, but yeah, I had to get to unlock it
They
twice.
did say you have to bend your toes, like or not bend. You have to point your toes, so it's literally like stretching your. And I'm doing it like I could, like y'all could see. But you have to literally point your toes and extend your leg as much as you can.
Yeah,
It is a weird position.
which makes your
I
calves
just-
bigger.
Yes. Yeah, and I understand safety. I do understand. But what I don't understand is how the test seat is
Yeah.
larger than the actual seat.
No,
It's very strange.
What's the point?
Yeah.
Yeah. And one other thing about Disney, it's the small children that are tired. The problem with the party is it goes till midnight.
Mhm.
Yeah.
These kids are tired. They probably usually go to bed at 8:00.
Yeah.
And here they are. Their parents are dragging them around.
Mhm.
They're screaming. You know, the kids are crying and nobody's having a good time. And they're annoying me. So that's another problem with the late night. I would like to do a late night adult Magic Kingdom
Yeah.
day.
Maybe, do you know what? Maybe they do a 2-tier thing where you get
They
coloured
won't.
wrist-
They
No,
won't.
just shut up and let me. No, if they did that, where it was like 2 tiers, and kids then have to be out the park by 8:30.
I think they do like a villain. Well, they used to. I don't know if they do it anymore, but it was like a
Yes.
villain late night
I would love to
adult
do
only
that.
kind of thing.
Yeah,
Yeah.
It scratched.
Otherwise, it's great.
It scratched my itch of going to Disney.
as a regular guest.
It didn't make me go, oh, do you know what? I really miss going to Disney.
No, but it made me go.
I'm like,
I'll do this again.
Yeah, I
this way.
enjoyed it for $110 or whatever. 6 hours in the Magic Kingdom, get to do the
Right.
highlights with low wait times. Yeah, but did it make me go, oh, do you know what? I really miss going to Disney like when we used to go all the time? It's like, yeah, that was enough, thanks.
Although it would be nice if they did that in all the other parks
That
as
would be
well,
very
so you
true,
could just go and
yeah.
do that.
Now,
You know.
what I propose is a UUOP Epcot day.
Yes, please.
Because we went to Epcot for the first time this year, and I'm hooked.
The first
Guardian-
time,
Oh,
whatever.
yes, the first time. Yes,
Oh my God.
yes, ever. We're
I
still
love
newbies
Epcot.
to Florida. We're still newbies to the
I
theme
forget
parks.
this. I forget this.
Yeah.
I love Epcot.
So-
I'm
oh, I do.
I'm
We
still
fell in
holding out
love.
hope for a Korea world.
This is
Which
going
is
off on
highly
a
rumoured.
tangent, by the way.
Oh no! Hey, mine was just a suggestion. I think it'd be a great. I think there's a lot of people who would be in it with me.
Yeah.
It'd just be in the World Showcase. That's all we
Oh,
like
that's
about
that's
Epcot.
all that counts over there.
Yeah, I suppose we better head back to Universal. Anybody got
Oh, yes.
anything else they want to chime in about their trip that they want to get off the chest or say what they enjoyed? I'm going to say overall, ours was a weird trip where I think we've said this on our last few trips where Tracy and I have become
All cantankerous.
a little too relaxed at
Yeah, too
Universal
much.
because we've been there a lot. It's crazy to think that we used to go every sort of 3 or 4 years. We've now been 5 times in the last 4 years, bearing in mind that 18 months of that last 4 years we couldn't have gone if we'd wanted to.
No.
It's crazy that we've been that much. And we've become a little too relaxed where I just go, oh, we don't need to plan anything. We just go and do what we want. And you end up doing nothing.
Just walking
I
around
do
and
understand.
around.
I've done the same thing. This time, I didn't go into islands at all until the day we left. And I went by myself and just walked around and got my fill of it and, said hello to my favorite spots.
Yeah.
And it when you do go often, you do fall into that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, I'm not riding that because it's 20 minutes. We'll come back and do it next time. And you end up not doing it.
Yeah.
And it didn't help. Like the only full day we had to ourselves was the Wednesday, which you down most of the day because of the back end of the hurricane. It was a very busy trip, this one as well, for definite. Way busier than previous ones. And not that I'm complaining. We love hanging out with people.
Oh, absolutely.
It was a busy old trip. And Horror Nights always takes up so much of your time.
Yeah, this is why we came back and I was like, I love Horror Nights and I really want to do it, but I do need to have a vacation as well.
Yes,
Because we
because your
don't
days
anymore.
are spent recovering from the night before
Yeah.
and planning for the day or for
Or the
that
not.
night.
And you're absolutely knackered all the time because you're trying to burn the candle at both ends.
Which we're too old for that now.
I could probably still do it,
Well,
but
you
it would
could do
kill
it.
me. But yeah, I think we had a really good trip overall. I love everything that's new that we tried. Like I say, I love Minion Land. I'm not, it's not hyperbole when I say it would probably be my number one attraction at this point. Born was, I think we saw Born twice. I love that attraction so
it
much.
blows me
I
away.
love Born.
So
It's
good.
amazing.
Horror makeup show we saw 4 times.
Yeah, made some new friends.
No, actually, I saw it 3 times.
Yeah, we saw it. Me and Michelle saw it without
That's
you.
when I had my Meatball Mountain incident.
Yes, I had mine later.
Yeah.
Yes, you missed a good show. We actually saw some new stuff in the shows that was like, we looked at each other, didn't we? Just the tip.
Oh yes, there was some.
Wow.
I heard that on our last time there.
Yeah.
Interesting, but yeah, just
Yeah.
overall, it was a good trip. I feel like we didn't do as much as I would have liked to have done because we don't go in with a plan anymore. And I still think because we think, we know what to do, and you can.
But we did spend more time sitting down and eating and appreciating.
We did chill out and
Rather just
enjoy
getting a
being
cookie
in
or
the
something like
parks.
that. Yeah,
And maybe that's what you needed after just
Maybe.
coming back home too.
Yeah.
Yeah,
It
to
worked
be honest,
out.
who knows what time zone I was on?
that's very true.
It was quite interesting.
Cool.
But we did have. I'm sorry, but we have to talk about pirates.
Oh,
The pirates.
The pirates. Ruby the pirate in particular.
Ruby, if you're listening, and I know you said you were going to.
Oh
Amazing.
my God. And the fact that just carried on and on and on, it was amazing.
Well, it was the fact that
God, you
4
said
days later,
Yeah.
she clocked. So I can't remember whether I've said this on. So we walked into port of entry, and the pirates were at the top, having some to do with the menu board outside of
That's a chef.
Confisco Grill.
Yes.
And we got talking to them, and there was like a whole thing going on.
What did they
and
call him?
I can't remember. Hugo or something.
No,
Wasn't it? Anyway, it doesn't matter.
Yeah.
So Ruby spits a dummy out, throws her toys out of the plan. It's like, right, where are we going? I'm going to follow you guys. We're like, we're going around the Zeus land. And he's like, where did he get his doctorate from? I don't
Go to the
agree that
strange
he's
land.
an actual doctor. And I was like, well, it's funny actually, isn't it? Because he creates weird creatures. And so does Dr. Oddfellow. Have you ever considered that Dr. Oddfellow and Dr. Zeus could be the same person? And she was like, what? Have we just concocted a conspiracy theory here right now? She's like, Lee, Tracy, I'm going to spread the rumour.
Yeah.
So we go around the park. We come back like 3 or 4 hours later. And then we're just walking down and she spots me and she's like, Lee, and like, Ruby? She said, I'm telling everyone I've got a nice little group going on. We're spreading the rumour.
So funny.
We come back 3 days later. The two on the side recognise us.
Yeah.
Ruby's like, Lee? I was like, Ruby, are you still spreading the rumour? She's like, I'm still going. We have connected with Ruby since coming back home.
Yes.
She said she's
They're
going to start
such a good
listening to the podcast.
addition.
Brilliant.
Yeah,
I love it.
I love all of the characters in Port of Entry. You all know that I love Port of Entry.
The Mayoress, of course.
Yes.
Oh, Lady Mayoress, yes.
Yeah, it was a thing that they only ever rolled the characters out in Port of Entry on busy times, but now they seem to be there all the time, and it's brilliant.
Because there is a backstory. People don't realise there's a backstory to this whole place, and I really need them to know it.
Right.
You
Yeah,
know,
it's the best thing they've done there.
Yeah.
I don't know why they didn't do it earlier, honestly. I love them.
Absolutely, and we've said it a million times before. If you see these, interact with them, because they'll be some of the best memories you have of visiting those parks.
Yeah.
Yes.
Cool.
Yep.
Yes.
Is that it? Are we done? I mean, there's probably so much more.
Probably that we'll remember later and kick ourselves.
But
They can come in other podcasts.
We need to get off this thing. So, of course, that is going to end this podcast. We will do so with another Universal Is. It's slowly coming to an end. And I have invited Joni, our guest, to come up with this week. So, for this episode, Joni, it is over to you.
This one may be a little bit unusual, but it's true. But Universal is my dopamine dealer.
See you next week.
That was another episode of the Unofficial Universal Orlando Podcast, the best and only podcast about Universal Orlando on the island. Check us out on social media on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, YouTube, and Pinterest. Just search UUO Podcast. For all the podcasts, news, and articles, check out our blog at uuopodcast.com. Contact us at podcast@uuopodcast.com. Join the Producers Club by emailing us at uuopproducers@gmail.com. Listen and subscribe to the podcast on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Google Podcasts, Stitcher, and everywhere else podcasts are found. Check out our friends, the Theme Park Duo, for all your other theme park news, and email Michelle at portkeyvacations.net to book your next trip. So until next time, this is Amity 6, Call Off the Marines, we're coming home.